We're back today with another Pivot and Pitch video, part of our Series 3, sponsored by Bank of America. Thank you, Bank of America, for all you do for supporting our local businesses and us here at the Chamber. Today, it is a great pleasure to be joined with Michelle Canchola of the Lydia Project. Michelle, as you mentioned, when COVID happened, cancer did not stop. So tell us, how has the Lydia Project shifted operations during the pandemic?
Thank you, Blair. The Lydia Project, you just nailed it when you stated many businesses have stopped because of COVID, but cancer just kept going. And the difference for what we do and what folks think about COVID, folks have a different opinion. Everyone thinks differently about what it is, but for sure it's fatal for somebody, anybody, his immune compromised. And that, for example, is somebody who's getting cancer treatment. It can be very, very fatal. So how did Lydia have to change? First of all, not once did Lydia close its doors. We've had to be open every day since the pandemic. We've never closed the doors. And so what we had to do is change the way we operate because cancer fighters needed us to be here. So patients come to Augusta from all over Georgia and South Carolina because Augusta is the best place for many of them for a cancer cure. We have some extraordinary medical care here in Augusta. Because of Lydia's lodging at no cost, patients can stay here because of the services that we provide. I do want to point out that Georgia, for example, 70% rural. It means no doctors. And when they come to Augusta and they get told they have to have 6 weeks of cancer treatment, they can't afford a hotel. That's what Lydia does. So how did we have to change that? Well, volunteers. What makes that lodging happen is the lodging volunteers. They really help make that possible. So we had to reduce the number of humans coming in the building. We've done that since April. And we could not have done that if volunteers were not willing to serve longer hours. Volunteers also agreed to limit their travels from home to Lydia and not everywhere else. And they've been just so dedicated in doing that. They were also given an essential letter because lodging volunteers are so essential. And of course, the volunteers wear masks and complete extra sanitation every shift. Patients now are required to have a COVID test prior to lodging. And patients also, when they're here, they shelter in place in their own rooms and they practice safe distancing. We put patients in every other room to encourage that safe distancing. That led to Lydia having to change partnering with a local hotel just around the corner from us. They gave us a phenomenal discounted rate because sometimes we had to put women and men over there when we couldn't accommodate them over here. And that has been a real lifesaver for us. Something else we've noticed in our mission and ministry to cancer fighters is that cancer patients' anxieties are just sky high. They are scared. An example is if they get a call that they've had a COVID test that turned out positive, they are told their cancer treatment stops and they can't come for 2 weeks. Well, for them, that might be a death sentence. In their minds, that's exactly what it looks like. Lydia has dedicated a staff member to do nothing but make hundreds of calls monthly to patients who are depressed, isolated, and scared. Her name is Stephanie, and month to month, when they hear that sweet voice on the phone, "Hi, this is Stephanie," they know they've not been forgotten. They know they're being encouraged. And she connects them to everything else that's needed. For example, it might be prayer, might be they need transport. That's something else Lydia has had to change is transport systems for patients failed because of COVID. Family members who were helping all of a sudden may not have been able to help. They might have wanted to stay at home and not come near the hospital, the doctors, whatever. Transport companies had to stop doing services. So Lydia's had to increase transport support, getting patients to their treatment. I want to show you a number. Look at this number here, and we'll put it right up. That's how many since January transport trips that Lydia has provided to cancer fighters, getting them to cancer treatment. That is an 86% increase since this time last year.
Well, that's a lot. Thank you for the wonderful work that you're doing to continue to serve such a needed customer base. And we are just so proud of you, and thank you so much for all. Tell us, what are some of the changes that you've had to implement that you foresee carrying into the future? So as we move into the new norm, what will be some of those changes that you will continue to remain effective?
Prayer. Cancer fighters know that they can also come to Lydia for prayer. And how that's always happened in the past, up until we had a pandemic, is that volunteers, a dedicated team, come in, they do the prayers. They not only do they pray, they also sorry, did we lose you? You're good. Okay, I want to start that over. Prayer, volunteer. Cancer fighters know they can come to Lydia for prayer. So we had to change that, where in the past volunteers came, a whole group on every Thursday morning, every week, to do prayer. And second to that, write notes. Everybody got a note. Today we prayed for you. And we get very, very specific requests. And they come actually from all over the country. We have a wonderful website, thanks to a company, PowerServe, who donates that to us. And they can find us and do those prayers. What did we change? Now we are doing it. It looks same exact service. It looks completely different. It happens, go to meeting online, kind of like Zooming is what it is. And we're doing that every week. And the notes that are written are picked up on the curb. Nobody comes in because we're reducing humans coming in the building. What do I love about what's changed? There's a lot of high school youth in the area having to do studies, some days at school, some days at home. And it turns out on Thursday mornings when we have prayer, we have high school youth who are calling in, participating in that prayer. One comes and writes notes with other volunteers. So that has been a tremendous blessing. So to me, the success story is engaging young people. We see that happening in the future. We'll stay with it.
And so if people are interested in volunteering and helping in different ways, I assume they can just contact you or go to your website?
Yes. And thank you for that. Anybody can get involved or get help by either calling our number or by going to our website, thelydiaproject.org. Remember, the word "the" is very important, thelydiaproject.org, or call in. At the website, there's a volunteer application, and that is the success of Lydia, is all the volunteers who are helping, some in the office, some are helping in the, of course, we have plenty in the lodging area. They help on the outside with fundraising. I just thank God for the Lydia volunteers and for you, Blair.
Oh, well, thanks so much. Such great work. Lots of amazing things. And I think you answered my last question. What would be a success story that you wanted to share? Is there anything additional beyond just all the support of the volunteers that you would like to share with us?
I want to show you all the lodging nights since January. Yep. Did I get it in there?
There you go. Yep. 1,272. That's a lot.
Since January, that's how many folks, how many lodging nights we've provided to cancer fighters so they can be near cancer treatment. I want to say to everybody, can pray for those we serve. They really are. Their anxieties are sky high. They're just so scared. And I'm just so glad Lydia can be here. Lydia also helps keep the electricity on, turn the water back on, pay for prescription medical supplies. So individuals can help either financially or by getting involved, by praying. Go to our website or follow us on Facebook at the Lydia Project Augusta. Thank you, Blair.
Well, thank you, Michelle. And just like so many of our nonprofits, funding now is more important than ever. So keep up the good work. We will continue to support you and appreciate our partnership. And we hope you have a great rest of your day.
The same to you. Thank you very much.